third phase of Judgment Day, that is Nuzal, which means the initial feast. Now we will continue with the remaining verses of this chapter. The next verse. This is from chapter 2 of Quran, verse 174. First Arabic. إن الذين يكتمون ما أنزل الله من الكتاب ويشترون به ثمنا قليلا أولئك ما يأكلون في بطونهم إلا النار ولا يكلمهم الله يوم القيامة ولا يزكيهم ولهم عذاب أليم. Translation. Verily those who conceal what God has sent down from the book and purchase a small gain therewith of worldly things, they eat into their bellies nothing but fire. God will not speak to them on the day of judgment, nor will He purify them, and for them there is painful punishment. Before discussing this verse, please note that one of the purposes of hell is to purify those souls that can be purified based on the nature and gravity or seriousness of the people's sins. However, this verse is informing us about a category of people who would not be purified in hell by God. These are those people who were supposed to be a witness of God's message through their conduct and at the same time were required to communicate it to non-Muslims or non-believers. Such people, due to their utter failure in performing their responsibility, will suffer a painful punishment in hell and would not be purified by God. Next verse. This verse is from chapter 3 of Quran, verse 77. First Arabic. إن الذين يشترون بعهد الله وأيمانهم ثمنا قليلا أولئك لا خلاق لهم في الآخرة ولا يكلمهم الله ولا ينظر إليهم يوم القيامة ولا يزكيهم ولهم عذاب أليم. Translation. Surely those who take a small price by breaking the covenant of God and their oaths, for them there is no share in the hereafter, and God will neither speak to them nor will He look towards them on the day of judgment, nor will He purify them. For them there is a painful punishment. Let's understand this verse now. Before that, please note that one of the purposes of hell is to purify those souls that can be purified based on the nature and gravity or seriousness of their sins. However, this verse is informing us about a category of people that would not be purified in hell by God. These are those people who were supposed to be a witness of God's message through their conduct and at the same time were required to communicate it to non-Muslims or non-believers. Such people, due to their utter failure in performing their responsibility, will suffer a painful punishment in hell and would not be purified by God. Furthermore, God would not even like to have a look at such people. Next verse. This verse is from chapter 4 of Quran, verse 48. First Arabic. إن الله لا يغفر أن يشرك به ويغفر ما دون ذلك لمن يشاء وَمَن يُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ فَقَدِ افْتَرَى إِثْمًا عَظِيمًا. Translation. Surely God does not forgive that a partner is ascribed to him, and he forgives anything short of that for whomsoever he wills. Whoever ascribes a partner to God commits a terrible sin. This verse clearly informs us that shirk or association of partners with God is the gravest and unforgivable sin a man can commit. Therefore, such people will never be purified in hell and would continue to suffer as long as this universe exists. These souls will be destroyed with the annihilation of universe. Please note that this universe has been created by God for a specific period that is called Ajalin Musamma in Quran. Please see chapter 30 of Quran, verse 8 and chapter 46 of Quran, verse 3 for further understanding. Kindly also note that it is shirk or association of partners with God that opens the door for all other sins or vices. Next verse. This is from chapter 2 of Quran, verse 167, first Arabic. وَقَالَ الَّذِينَ اتَّبَعُوا لَوْ أَنَّ لَنَا كَرَّةً فَنَتَبَرَّأَ مِنْهُمْ كَمَا تَبَرَّؤُوا مِنَّا كَذَلِكَ يُرِيهِمُ اللَّهُ أَعْمَالَهُمْ حَسَرَاتٍ عَلَيْهِمْ وَمَا هُمْ بِخَارِجِينَ مِنَ النَّارِ. Translation. And those who followed will say, we wish we had another chance to return to the word, so that we may disown them as they had disowned us. Thus Allah will show them that their deeds were nothing but causes of remorse for them, and they are not to come out of the fire. This verse is reaffirming what we have discussed in the last two verses, that mushriks or those who associate partners with God will never come out of hell. This means that this is not a purifiable sin, as it opens the door for all other vices. Once again, this verse informs us about the seriousness and gravity of shirk or association of partners with God. Next verse. This verse is from chapter 5 of Quran, verse 37. First Arabic. يُرِيدُونَ أَن يَخْرُجُوا مِنَ النَّارِ وَمَا هُمْ بِخَارِجِينَ مِنْهَا وَلَهُمْ عَذَابٌ مُقِيمٌ. Translation. They will wish to come out of the fire, but they will not be able to come out from there. For them, there will be a lasting punishment. This verse is once again reaffirming what we have discussed in the last few verses, that mushriks or those who associate partners with God will never come out of hell. This means this is not a purifiable sin, as it opens the door for all other sins and vices. Once again, this verse informs us about the gravity and seriousness of shirk or association of partners with God. Next verses. These are from chapter 19 of Quran, verses 86 and 87. First Arabic. وَنَسُوقُ الْمُجْرِمِينَ إِلَى جَهَنَّمَ وِرْدًا لَا يَمْلِكُونَ الشَّفَاعَةَ إِلَّا مَنِ اتَّخَذَ عِنْدَ الرَّحْمَنِ عَهْدًا. Translation. And the criminals will be driven and thrown into hell. No one will be able to intercede for the others except those whom the beneficent God has given authority. These verses inform us about the following. 1. Wrongdoers will be escorted to hell. Please note that there is no intercession at the time of accountability, as stated explicitly in the following verses of Quran. Chapter 2, verse 48. Translation: Have fear of the day when every soul will be responsible for itself. No intercession or ransom will be accepted, and no one will receive help. Chapter 2, verse 123. And fear the day of judgment, when no person shall avail another, nor shall compensation be accepted from him, nor shall intercession be of use to him, nor shall they be helped. Next verse is from chapter 2, verse 254. Translation: O you who believe, spend of that with which we have provided for you, before a day comes when there will be no bargaining, nor friendship, nor intercession. And it is the disbelievers who are the zalimun, that is, wrongdoers. The concept of intercession or shafaat in fact relates to the people in hell, who would be purified from their sins after suffering punishment for a specific period. Once they have been purified, they will be taken out of hell through the prophets or pious people. This is intercession or shafaat. The following verses of Quran support the concept of intercession or shafaat at this stage of God's plan. First verse is from chapter 19, verse 87. None shall have the power of intercession, but such a one as has received permission or promise from Allah, most gracious. Next verse is from chapter 20, verse 109. On that day shall no intercession avail except for those for whom permission has been granted by Allah, most gracious, and whose word is acceptable to Him. Next verse. This is from chapter 21, verse 28. Translation: He knows what is before them and what is behind them, and they offer no intercession except for those who are acceptable, and they stand in awe and reverence of His glory. This verse is talking about angels who would be able to do intercession for some people in hell. Please note that mushrikeen of Arab considered angels to be daughters of God, who would intercede on their behalf on the day of judgment. Next verse. This is from chapter 34 of Quran, verse 23. Intercession with him profits not, except for him whom he permits, until when fear is banished from their hearts, that is, angels. They, the angels, say, What is it that your Lord has said? They say, The truth, and He is the Most High, the Most Great. These people for whom intercession has been accepted will then be entered into the paradise of the right-hand people. With this verse, we have completed this chapter. Thank you.